Well, good afternoon, my brothers and my sisters. And I'm here before you to celebrate you on my 53rd birthday. This is very much unscripted. I do not have any written poetry for you today. That is not what this is all about. But I will share with you that because of all of the texts and the messages and the calls and so many other ways that you've reached out to me, even through greeting cards, I so much appreciate you. And I just want to take a moment to come before you, and I've entitled this live Love Matters. And just to give a little background, what it feels to be, how it feels to be 53 and 2021, and what it has taken me to get to this point in my life. And I name it Love Matters first. I really am celebrating you because with you being a part of my experience, it has made my life that much better, that much greater. And I will say that even at this time, I'm making a point of not seeing who is on because I don't want to shape this based on any one individual or groups of people, but to say that each and every one of you have touched my life in some sort of way that have made me a greater person, a greater poet, a greater artist, a greater brother, a greater child, nephew, cousin, uh, partner, all of these things, and I'm very grateful for that. So let me. I want to take you back to when I turned 40 years old. When I turned 40 years old, it was now 13 years ago, I made a promise to myself that I would do more as far as giving back, not just giving back, but giving more of myself to those I love and those who love me. And that was a declaration that basically changed my life for the better. And as anything about a declaration, a lot, which is even, well, let's just say, excuse me, an affirmation is higher than a declaration. And even though I called it a declaration, it was pretty much an affirmation that has served me over the last 13 years of my life. And again, I entitled this live Love Matters because that was the focus, the basis of my affirmation. And what I found during that time, and at the age of 40, I also had something very much on my heart, and that was uh, enlarge God, enlarge my territory. Now, when you make such a request of the kingdom, you do not necessarily have in mind. You do not know what that might look like or what that may show up like. And I will tell you, I made such a declaration, and in that, my let's just say my territory has been greatly increased, greatly enlarged, and I am so grateful for it. And unless we get confused, I am not even talking uh, on the prosperity side as far as material things. That is good too. I have to admit that is good. But I want to talk about the time that I have to share with my family and my friends and my new friends and my associates and my coworkers and former coworkers. And those things cannot be measured in the sense of the material that so many of us look for. And so to even be able to have this opportunity to come before you to say that is part of the enlarging of my territory. So I'm grateful for that. So that was in that was at the age of 40. And it was just before that, probably about 5 years before that, I share something a little bit personal with you. And I know my little cousin, she will appreciate this because she doesn't even know this story. My second cousin, Nakaris, was born, and her parents and grandparents were having her christened. in the AME church, and I actually drove home from Atlanta to be there. And when I got to South Carolina, to Georgetown, I there was a picture taken of me holding the carrier. She was still a baby, and I was holding her. And that picture, I don't know where that picture is now. And I have been looking for it for probably over a year. And I'm looking online, see if I posted it online someplace. I'm looking in my physical photographs and things like that, and I just couldn't find it. So the last couple of weeks, I've really been looking for that photograph, and I had wanted to share it with you all on Wednesday Wisdom Poetry, because I am so grateful of where I am now in my life. Excuse me, please. So why is that photograph so important to me? I looked at that photograph after it was taken, and where I was mentally in my life, I could not necessarily see it, even by looking at it in the mirror. But that photograph showed me a side of me that I did not like. And so that photograph keeps flashing every once in a while in my head to let me know how good God is. Really, to let me know how good God is, because one of the things I tell people about that photograph, I look older in that photograph. I was in my mid 30s. I look older in that photograph then, 17 years ago, than I do now. And so I go back to that the scripture that says that God will give you back the years that the cankerworms and the locusts had stolen. That's paraphrasing, but the idea is there. And but then I realized recently I don't need to find that photograph. I know. I know the struggles I was going through at that time. I know what I was feeling about myself. I know how I was feeling about other people. And that's why I say love matters. You cannot love someone else until you fully and completely love yourself. And over these years, I have found that to be my mantra. I have found it to be my saving grace. I have found it to be the reason I can come before you every Wednesday. I have found it to be the reason I can write as an artist. I can shine as myself. I can be a big brother, a little brother, a child. I can be a nephew, uncle to my nieces and my nephews. I can be all of those things. Or I can be nothing to no one, as long as I am loving myself. And that's what, on this Valentine's Day, on the day that I celebrate my birthday, I wanted to share with you. I don't know what you might be dealing with at this point in time in your life, but I hope that you can actually look at where I am in mine based on what I'm saying to you and telling you and actually sharing, because it's my truth, it's my honesty to say to you, you hold on. You learn to put your faith in God who created you in love. You learn how to reflect yourself in love, and I will guarantee you this: you will get back those years that you have lost. You get back the relationships that you wanted to build, and let me, because it's who I am. That also means dropping some relationships. Doesn't mean the person was bad, the person was wrong, the person was anything. But there's some things that you have to drop and leave aside, alongside the path of your journey, in order to fully embrace yourself. And so, in order to fully embrace yourself, you have to look at the whole picture. And whether someone agrees with what I'm about to say is really none of my business. This is my story. It worked for me. One of the things I've come to understand is that the great I am for me also means it's about me. You know, I take that as an acronym, IAM. It's about me. Whether the person was totally wrong in their actions, how I react to their actions, that's all about me. So I have learned to put some things aside that A very good friend of mine said to me about 20 years ago, I was really upset about something that had happened. And he said to me, he said, Sheraldon, you have to decide whether you being right is more important than the relationship. And I wanted to push back so hard, but that has always stuck with me. And so even when I deem that someone may be wrong in their actions or their thoughts, chances are I'm going to choose the relationship of love over that person's action. I didn't wake up like that, all right? But I also had to realize that people, that I've done wrong. First of all, that I've done wrong. I'm not always right. And I don't want to be in a place where I judge lest I be judged. I'll say that again. I don't want to be in a place that I judge lest I be judged. This has been quite a journey for me. I cannot wait to see what this year brings. I have some ideas, but even with my ideas, they're limited in the eyes of God. So I ask that you, in celebration of my birthday, celebrate you. Celebrate the God in you. Celebrate the love in you. Be yourself. And I will end with this. One of my greatest gifts, one of the greatest gifts to me is my family. I love my family, and my family loves me. And I think that this is one of the greatest gifts of being able to reconcile and to heal places that many of us thought could never be reconciled and never be healed. And if it cannot be reconciled and it cannot be healed, then this is a time just to let it go. I'll say it again. If it cannot be reconciled and it cannot be healed, then simply let it go. Because one of the things I have learned as I tend to see these years come and go is that I will not allow anything or anybody to rob me of my peace. I'll say it again. I will not let anything or anybody rob me of my peace. I now understand the elders and those ancestors who are watching over me and you right now and around us. When they found that peace, they didn't give it up easily. They will fight for it. And I commend you when you fight for it. I am Sheraldon Brave. Celebrate with me this year. The party does not end. As long as I'm breathing, the party does not end. So I love you all so much. I thank you. I know that I had thought about later on, after seeing all the messages and everything, that I will do and I probably will still do a group, or should I say a general video and upload it just to say thank you for thinking about me. But in years past, I've always taken the time to respond to each and every comment. And I really, knowing me, that's not going to change this year either. But it may take me a little while to get to you. But know that if you commented, if you sent a message, if you left a voicemail, if you text me, if you did snail mail, you will get a response from me. I also want to thank my cousin Moniz for calling me early this morning for me to understand that she could not leave a post. I did not realize that that my settings was one that you could leave a comment to something I'd already posted, but you could not just post on my on my profile page. So when I woke up this morning and I saw a lot of messages in my inbox, I was like, why are people messaging me on my inbox? So, I went on and had breakfast, and Moniz called me, and that's when she told me, I said, well, cuz let me take a look at this. And I was like, especially there's some people who would never just inbox me. And so when I realized that was the case, I was able to go back and change it. So thank you so much for reminding me that there's still a little learning curve when you don't have children in the house to help you with those kinds of things. So again, I'm Sheraldon Brave. I am celebrating 53 years on this day. And before I forget, let me thank you all for celebrating my mother's birthday on yesterday with me, for all the uh, the reactions and the comments and everything. She was tagged in it, so hopefully she's able to see them. But I will be discussing with her uh, all of the love that you all showed her on yesterday. I usually travel home to South Carolina to be with her, uh, basically almost every year. I chose not to this year. I've had a lot going on. My mother was very understanding about that, and that's one of the reasons I love her, because she understands, and when things need to happen a certain way. She helps me with that. So thank you so much, Mama, for that. All right. So take care, and I'll be in touch soon. Love you much. Bye now.